What's going on, fight fans? This is Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Rob Jarrell, and this is just a quick blurb. Unfortunately, there's been a lot going on this week. Me and Hakeem kind of been going through some things. We'll probably discuss it in another video, but I wanted to bring out a quick blurb for tonight's fight. We have the main event on Showtime being Luis King Kong Ortiz versus the champion Deontay the Bronze Bomb Wilder. This is that fight that we've been clamoring for. Of course, we didn't get it the first time around because Luis Ortiz got popped for PEDs. So he's on. He's had a few comeback fights, tune-ups, and now he's facing the champ in Deontay Wilder. And myself, like a lot of boxing fans, really want to see this fight because this is the first biggest step-up fight that Deontay Wilder has had. We know he's knocked out Bermane Stiverne. We knew he's had a lot of, to me, B-level guys, no one A-level. I mean, he knocked out Gerald Washington, who was giving him fits. But he seems to be one of those guys who fights up to or down to his competition, with the exception of Bermane Stiverne. We know he beat him in the first fight, knocked him down, but Stiverne made the final bell. In the second fight, Stiverne just got railroaded. It wasn't even close. So this is Deontay Wilder's biggest test to date, and to me, this is the first fight in the beginning of an exciting year for heavyweights in boxing. Hopefully, all this culminates to Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder fight, end of the year, maybe the beginning of 2019. Who knows? But there are a lot of undefeated guys in the heavyweight division. Deontay Wilder is 38-0. I think he has like 37 knockouts or 36. It's like a 90-something% knockout rate. But Luis Ortiz is the same way, but he's much older. For this fight, Deontay Wilder came in at about 214 pounds, which is very light, but we know he's very big up top with small legs. Luis Ortiz, on the other hand, came in at 241 pounds, and we know even at 6'3", 6'4", I'm 6'4", 241 pounds. He's not like really that chiseled. He's just a bulky guy. And this will serve him well in that fight because at this point, he should be able to push Wilder around and encroach his space. But the thing about it is, Ortiz, while he's been getting wins and some knockouts, has been very poor competition. And he hasn't really looked that great in his fights leading up to this one. And of course, the speculation is it because of the performance-enhancing drugs? It's a possibility. And Deontay Wilder, despite what you think about him, has ran a pretty tight, clean ship. He is under USADA testing, if I'm not mistaken. No, VADA testing, whatever one that is higher than the other. But he's been very stringent on it. He's caught a lot of guys with that. And that's unheard of that you catch that many opponents, so you have to keep postponing and getting a new opponent. But that's neither here nor there. With this, Ortiz has looked good in his best fights. Again, it's just interesting to see, can he weather Deontay Wilder's power and length versus Wilder dealing with the craftiness and from the southpaw stance that Luis Ortiz has. And will he be in enough shape? We know Wilder is in great shape. He does move. Sometimes he over moves and he wings his punches. But as flawed as he is, he overcomes that with life-changing power in both hands. We know he can throw the right, but he's changed some guys' worlds with that left hook. So it's going to be interesting to see, is Ortiz going to force him to fight and get on the inside? We know he's had problems versus southpaws, especially athletic southpaws. I don't think Luis is super athletic, but he will get on his toes and he will bounce. But with that being said, what happens when he goes past 6? Again, he's been busted for performance-enhancing drugs that can help his stamina in previous fights. And can he maintain that while Deontay Wilder tends to turn it up as the fights go on? He tends to give away early rounds. Just look at the Gerald Washington fight. So tell us what you think. I think Wilder wins late stoppage very late, maybe 11th or 12th round, because at a certain point he starts to get that 1-2, and he has the most automatic right hand. It's one of those automatic punches that he could throw at any time, super quick, super fast, and if it even grazes you, you will be confused. You will be put on Queer Street. So I'm interested to see this fight. I won't be surprised if Ortiz gets in and beats him, because we do know that Wilder tends to back straight up. That's not good, especially for someone like Ortiz who has deceptively long arms. So tell us what you think. Hopefully you can get this in responses before the fight comes up tonight. Also on the undercard, we have a rematch between Andre Dirrell versus Jose Uzcategui. Uzcategui was possibly winning that last fight when he got the punch inadvertently hit Dirrell after the bell. And of course, Dirrell might have been hurt by that. We know the melee afterward with Dirrell's cousin. We know that's not the first time that Dirrell's been hit after the bell in a vulnerable position. But Uzcategui, who's not very polished, but he's active, he's strong, and he really knows how to fight. Dirrell, who is the boxer, again, fights down to his competition. He hasn't proven it truly against his best opponents. So it's a possibility that Uzcategui, with nothing to lose, brings that fight again to Dirrell, but it's up for Dirrell to constantly move and fire back. Sometimes he becomes complacent and he's always looking for the best shots, when he should be more active in those spots, especially if he's not going to knock his guy out. He did not look good in that fight. So it's a hard one to call, because Dirrell is the more talented of the two fighters, but Uzcategui is the fighter. So tell us what you think. I really don't have a pick. My heart says go with Dirrell, but my head says Uzcategui can pull off the perceived upset by knockout. And also on the HBO card, Sergey Crusher Kovalev is taking on Igor Mikhalkin. Have not seen any footage on this guy. Apparently, they're friends, both from Russia, but I expect the Crusher to do what the Crusher does against everyone that's not named Andre Ward, and that's to knock this guy out. He looked great in his last fight where he knocked out Vyacheslav Shabransky. I expect him to look good on his comeback trail, because there are belts out there and he wants his belts back. And also on the undercard, we have Dimitri Bivol versus Salim Barrera. Bivol is much more green than Barrera. Barrera being the Cuban boxer who's seen a who's who of fighters. We know he saw Shabransky. We know he's seen Andre Ward. We know he's seen Joe Smith Jr. The thing about that is Bivol, who fights very well, is still kind of raw, but he has excellent power at that division. And someone like Barrera constantly gets caught cold, gets caught early, but he makes great in-fight adjustments to his opponent. Look what he did to Joe Smith Jr. He got knocked down, but he was able to use his slick boxing skills. He's got a great jab, and he is not small. The same against Shabransky. Shabransky got to him. He didn't waver. He stayed concentrated. Bivol's only chance to me is to knock him out, and he's got to draw Barrera into a firefight. When Barrera gets knocked down or hurt, he doesn't just box. He will fight you back. The problem is that he might be a little bit careless, and I think he tends to get hit with that right hand quite a bit. So Bivol does have a chance, and if he can consistently draw him into firefights, he should be able to win the fight. I've got nothing else for you today. It should be a good night of fights. Also, there's UFC on tonight, which should be pretty interesting, but I am more interested in boxing tonight. We get in fights that we want to see, and we'll talk to you in the preview video. If you have any questions, any comments, put them in the comment section down below. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you want notifications for when we put up new videos, please hit that bell icon. And until next time, fight on.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming.